So I'm creating this tutorial to help hopefully make it very easy for you to put together your cube peg sphere. This is the end result. This is what you're going to end up creating. And there's the peg in the actual middle. So let's go ahead and start making it. So I'm going to come up here. This is the fastest way I'm going to do it. Click on this little thing. I'm going to go new design. This new design will give me a new canvas. I'm going to go ahead right off the bat and title this tutorial cube peg sphere. Then I'm going to go, I never do it at an angle like this. I always do straight, build at a straight angle, not at an angled angle. So I'm going to go, so I either build like that or I can come down here to the side and go straight on, change the plane. But right now I'm going to just do it from top down. And I see that I have, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go work plane, make sure everything's correct. So I click on it, I come over here, I check to see, and I see that we're in millimeters. I look at my specs on PegCube, the handout I gave you, and it says it's in, its biggest portion of it is in inches. So I'm going to click on this. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to go edit grid. I'm going to say, let's not do millimeters, let's do inches. Perfect, update grid. Then, see this here, 1/8 of an inch? When I start to move things, and I'll use the arrows on my keyboard to shift objects left, right, up, down, it's going to jump 1/8 of an inch. What if I want really fine-tuned movement? So I always keep it in 1/64. And any time you change the screen or go to another project and come back, or quit and come back, you're going to have to reset this in 1/64. It'll always be, default is 1/8. You'll have to set it to 1/64. So right now I'm at 1/64. I'm going to come here, I'm going to get my first, I'm going to get my box, just try and square it off on these lines right here. And then I'm going to get my sphere. And how about I take, whoops, come on. And I'm going to put the sphere, try and line it up with it. And that looks good. How about right there? Perfect. Now, my circle is supposed to be 0.5. So I'm going to go 0.5 inches. I'm going to click on this one, 0.5 inches. I'm going to click on the square. This is supposed to be 0.5 inches. The other part of the square is supposed to be 0.5. So half an inch is the same. In half an inch in fractions is the same 0.5. So 0.5, watch, I put this in, and automatically it'll say half. Now let's go ahead and zoom in on this. So I'm going to come and zoom. There we go. I'm going to come out just a little bit. Let's square this up. I don't like the fact, I'm going to go like this so it's all straight. I don't have any shadow effect. So I'm going to go up this. See that small corner right there? That's what I want. I'm going to take this and let's put it also in the corner. Perfect. Now let's check to see if they're lined up. They're not. This guy's got to. So right now I'm hitting the up arrow on my keyboard, and that looks lined up. That looks lined up. I'm looking up here on the top line. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead, and I just want to make sure everything's in the same plane. Notice how I always have to have a squared off edge. And so I look at this, see how I can't get a squared off edge because this is a circle, but I can get it here. I can get squared off work plane there. So I know I have the work plane. When I did that, see how I can see through it right now? So that's going to help me when I bring in my actual cylinder. So I'm going to take the cylinder and I might as well bring it in. And my, whoops, wow, that's a big cylinder. And I'm going to take the cylinder, and according to my things, the cylinder, I'm going to go for the hole. I'll do the peg later because I'm putting the hole in it right now. So let's go. Hole is height 0.2, width 1.2, length 0.9. So height 0.2, width 0.2. Okay, and let's get this guy up out of the way. There. So we take this, I'm going to go like that. I can put this anywhere right now. I guess I'll put it right there. Okay, and now I'm going to go sideways. So here we go. Actually, I need to get the length, and the problem, this is what, I'll use the square, the side of that square. I need to get the plane on this, and the problem is this side here is square, so if I go for a plane here, it's square. But when I go around the side, see how it's not, that circle's not square, and that's not square. So now if I want to work on something, I always have to have a square work plane to ever work on something. It's not going to work on the side because that's curved. This ball is curved, but that edge of the square, I'm going to click there. That isn't curved. So I'm going to take this right here. Something's off. So I'm going to click on this. And I'm going to see, yeah, that's off. The height of that's off. So I'm going to go 0.5. Turn, I'm going to get this circle, 0.5. There. Now I'm going to get this guy here. Let's get his measurements. And his measurements are supposed to be 0.2 and with 0.2. So we have the 0.2s. This is the one here that needs to change. And that one there is supposed to go to 0.9. Return. There. Now I have this guy's the correct size. Now all I have to do is get him into the actual, so I'm going to go like that. Just guesstimate. And I can see the lines. Now let me see how I'm trying to get the lines to look through there. So I'm going to go work plane again and click on this squared side. I can't click here because it's curved. I'll throw off my work plane, but there, and yeah, I can kind of see the lines. So now I'm going to take this guy here, and let's go around there. Again, let's go to the work plane. If you're ever going to be working on something, you have to have, if you're going to change anything, you have to set the work plane. And you can't do it on a curve, you have to do it on a flat. So I'm going to go click. Now those guys are all on the same plane. And I see this guy here. See those curved lines right there? That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go click, hold, whoops. Go edit, undo. There. So that's it. That's what I want. So I'm going to go click. Let's get it so we have our 90 degrees. Right there. That's our 90 degrees. It's perfect. Now I'm going to line this guy up. Okay? And I'm going to put him like that. And that like that. Matter of fact, I could add even a little bit more. And now I just need to line it up perfectly in the middle. And so what I'm looking at right now is, I'm going to click off. So right now, see this? This guy's a little bit over, this guy's a little bit over that and over that. So I'm going to click on this, bring it down, arrow key, and let's see if it's lined up now. It looks like it. See how it's touching there? This one's a little over, this one's a little under. Click on it, I'm going to bring it down, and now that looks lined up. That means that 1, 2, 3, 4. So on 2, 1, 2, that's my center line right there. And so I want to make sure. So I'm going to click. Let's do work plane again. I'm going to go like this, click. See how I can see right through that right now? And that's what I want the center. See these black boxes? I need to bring that down just a little bit to equal that line right there. And then I know it'll be centered. I think that's about as close as I'm going to get. And now I'm looking at the end lines for the 0.9. I think that looks fairly balanced right now, so I'm going to say that's good. So I'm going to copy that, okay? And I'm going to go on my keyboard. I'm going to go Command C. That's for Apple. So now I just copied this. It's going to save me because I'm going to go make the peg and build it in a different project. Not in this one. I'm just going to make a new project called peg. So this one I'm going to ship off, and this one will have a square. It'll have the box. It'll have the sphere, and it'll have a hole in it. Because now I click on my peg. I come up here to, and I make it shaded. Then I hold down the Shift key, and I click on the square, and I click on the sphere, and now I group it. And at that point, see how it disappeared? But I now have a hole going directly through the middle of that actual, you know what I should do? Before I do that, I'm going to do Edit Undo. Or, so Command Z, or I can click on this and say Ungroup. And then I'm going to come back on this, and I need to check. There's hole. I'm going to do shape. I didn't check. I should do one check before I... No, it's not centered in this plane. It's centered in the up-down plane. I need to move it a little bit to the left. Boy, I'm glad I took a moment. So I go click on the work plane. I click on that flat surface. Now I have a level work plane. Everything's on plane. And now, whoops, let's do that again so I can see. And click. And I need to highlight this guy for a second. Okay, I'm not changing anything, so I don't need to work plane it. As long as he's active, let's take that. And that's it. That's the actual peg. And it's close. Looks like it's going to have to come. Okay, there's the line. There's the peg. And he's going to have to come to the right. So I'm going to keyboard it right. And I'm still in 1/64th. And that looks really good. There's one line there. There's one line. So this line comes down. It's just to the side of that one. This one comes down and it's just a hair to the side of that one. So I'm going to say we're okay right now. We're dead center. So now let's go back to the other plane. Go work plane. I'm going to click on this one. Again, I can't click on the circles because they're curved. I can click on that flat side. There's my peg. I'm going to click on the peg. I'm going to come up to make it shadowed. And then I'm going to hold down my Shift key. So right now, that's got an invisible look to it. I'm going to go ahead and it's highlighted. I'm going to hold my Shift key and then click on the square. So I just grouped it with the square. There's a little bit of space here. I'm going to click on the sphere. The sphere now has been selected. So all three have been selected. I come up to group. And the moment I group it, all three have been selected. They're all selected together. And that guy's in the shadow or transparent mode. So now when I click group, that peg is going to become a hole. And now, so here it goes. I click on it. Ta-da! And it is officially there. See how it's gone? That peg is officially a hole. Now, I already copied it earlier, so I have it copied. Okay? So as long as I have this right here, just laughs and giggles, I'm going to click on just to make sure I have the right work plane. Now, I'm going to click off. I'm going to go export. And I'm going to go STL. And it's going to say, do you want to allow downloads on Tinkercad? Allow. And it'll be in my downloads folder. We'll come back and get that. And it'll be called Tutorial Cube. And this is what I'm going to send over to RLS Multimedia Server. I'll show you how to do that. Now, I'm going to go create a new one, new design. And on this one, I'm just going to call it Peg. Tutorial Peg. Now, you saw that I already made, whoops, you saw that I already made two. I don't like all capitals. So you saw that I already made the square. I already made the cylinder. I made the hole going through it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and create this peg. There's a good chance if I made that peg on the same project, they would be floating in air and it wouldn't come out correctly when it went to the 3D printer. So I'm going to send this guy over as its own file, and then Mr. Harrington, instructor, will pull all of them through. But right now, I'm going to create, remember I said I don't like doing anything on angles, so I'm going to go to top. I'm going to click on this just for a minute. Make sure everything's in the correct plane. Now I'm going to go edit paste. How do I do that? I'm going to go Command V on my keyboard. Command V. And there it is. There's my peg. I'm done. At this point, it's already on the plane. So I'm going to go ahead and just click once here so it goes off, and I'm going to go, oh, you know what I need to do? I take that back. I'm not done. The hole obviously has to be a little bit bigger than the peg, or else it's not going to slide in. Right now, this peg is the exact same size as the hole, because this is what I made, this is what I used to make the hole. Now, in order for this to slide into that hole, I have to bring it down a little bit. And if you look at the handout, it says create a peg, height 0.175, width 0.175, length 0.85. So everything is just slightly less, so that it'll slide into that hole measurement of 0.2, 0.2, 0.9. So let's do that. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. And I did that by clicking on this tab right here. I like this, so I'm just going to leave this alone. So I'm going to click on this, and it says, ooh, this is what I need to change. Remember, every single time you start a new project. So I'm going to go edit, because I'm looking at this and it's in millimeters. We need to be in inches, okay? So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go millimeters, inches, and then I'm going to go ahead and say update grid. And now, remember, I like to have real fine movement, not big bulky movement. And so instead of 0.18, which is each time, if I do see this distance right here, if I was hitting my keyboard, the arrow on the keyboard, it would jump from here to here every single time I hit the key. Versus if I go to 1/64th, it'll be nice fine movements. If I hit the keyboard right now, it'll just go from like here, and it'll go to like there. So it'll be tiny little movement. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and now that I'm in inches and I have fine movement, I'm going to click on the side, and I'm going to make the length. This guy right here is supposed to be 0.85. And I come to this, and I'm going to say, what is it, 0.175. And then I'm going to go around the side. Remember, I like everything straight up. I do not like working in angles like that. Be straight on with it. Then I'm going to come do my work plane. Click. See how that's a flat side? So I can click my work plane here. I couldn't before when I was on the side because it's curved. Now I have this, and let's make sure. I have 0.175. This one here, 0.175. Excellent. Now I can actually go to print right now if I wanted. Let's make sure. Click. Perfect. And there's no reason not to go right now, but I'm just going to take a peek. Yeah, I think I am. I'm going to go to print right now because I really don't want to reset the plane. So as long as it's like this right now, do that one last time. Work plane on the flat side, click, and now let's go ahead, tutorial peg, and I'm going to go ahead and go export, STL, and now I'll have 2 in my downloads. And next little tutorial will show you how to take that and bring it onto RLS Multimedia Server.